Hello everyone, thanks for your patience as I put together this Chanel Spring 2013 coverage, and I do apologize if my voice sounds a little warbly because I am still a touch sick. I'm recovering from a slight flu or cold that's been going around, and my voice it was just gone. It's still working its way back to me. But thank you so much for your patience, and we're going to start with the review right away because I know so many of you have been waiting for this. This gorgeous powder is one of the very first that I recommended on my Instagram when I first purchased the collection. I fell in love right away because the last highlighter that I really adored from Chanel was actually from last holiday, I believe. This is the Lumiere. This one is nice because it's very pale, slightly white with just a hint of pink, so it's not too stark against the skin. So this one has been my favorite since. But now that this Spring 2013 one, with a touch of rose and slightly golden with silver shimmers, this one I feel like is the most balanced and the most appropriate for my yellow-toned golden skin. As you can see, I have placed a generous amount down the center of my nose so you could see how obvious it is on camera if you do want it to be that way. I'm more of a fan of a natural highlight, but some of you do like a very distinct, noticeable highlight, especially at this price point. So I just wanted to share with you that this illuminating powder from the Spring 2013 collection, not only is it pretty in the pan, it's also pretty on the face. So that's why I love and recommend this one. But a lot of people have asked me if you can use this all over the face. Granted, if you really don't have any visible pores at all, yes, you could technically use it all over the face as long as you use a large fluffy brush and use a very light hand. It will give you that illuminating effect all over your face. But I don't recommend it because highlighters like this tend to become a little greasy looking, especially if you have oily skin, then it'll just make your entire face look shiny. But I don't recommend it for all over the face. Obviously you can if you really would like to. Now we have the Stilo Waterproof in Or Rose. It's an automatic waterproof pencil. The Or Rose in number 89 is a gorgeous color, and I was disappointed that Temptalia.com had rated this badly. She rated it a C or a D, I think, and it definitely doesn't deserve that rating in my opinion because it's actually not that rough on the waterline. You just have to soften it up a little bit, and you can use the back of your hand or your fingertip if it's clean and just warm it up a little bit and then apply it to the waterline. But I have sensitive eyes and I have sensitive lower lash lines, and I can still use this and it doesn't tug so much, and it's still pretty pigmented. The more you use it, the softer it gets. I think I still prefer the Armani version, even though it's slightly more orange and less rose gold. If you're looking for a very rose gold pencil to match the illuminating powder, which is the reason I bought this pencil, so that I could wear these two together, then definitely give it a shot. Now for my favorite part of the collection, the nail polishes. I'm a huge fan of Chanel nail polishes. To this day, I think that Chanel nail polishes are my favorite. In fact, I'm positive they are my favorite. I own the most of them and I continue to buy them. So I have to say 569 Emprise was the one that most impressed me. With this one, I do recommend 2 thin coats. That's all you need, 2. So the first coat might seem a little sheer. If you use a clumpy first coat, this polish will feel like a disaster, but trust me, it's not. You just have to be very stingy with this one. And generally, I don't recommend being stingy because I am all for one coat wonders, but this is perfect in 2 coats, and it's the perfect tone for my light medium complexion. So I highly recommend this one. And now for Fracas, which is number 571. And at first I fell in love with this because it is my favorite shade of hot pink. And it even has some gold and fuchsia shimmer in it. And it's visible in sunlight, it's visible in fluorescent lighting as well. But as much as I love this hot pink watermelon tinge shade, it doesn't look as nice as my favorite Chanel pink, which is Rose Insolent. And as you can see in the bottle, Rose Insolent is cooler. It's definitely got a blue lean, whereas this one has a warm red lean. But Fracas is not as self-leveling, it's not as fast-drying as Rose Insolent is. On my toes, it's been doing perfectly for over a week and a half, but I feel like on my hands for some reason, Fracas is not doing so well and it keeps chipping. So overall, I really do love the two, but I think Emprise is the one to have, especially if you already have Rose Insolent, then you can go ahead and skip Fracas, unless you're looking for a slightly different, warmer pink version of Rose Insolent. Now for the eyeshadow palette. This is number 39, and I have to say Chanel eyeshadow quads keep getting better and better. They improve the quality, they improve the texture, all the shades are beautifully pigmented, but the problem with this one is I feel like I own so many Burberry single eyeshadows that, especially Rosewood and Dark Sable, I feel like if you own those two Burberry eyeshadow singles, you won't need this quad. And the reason I say that is because those are even more pigmented and work just as well as these. In order to create a look like this, you technically only need those two. But if you don't have those two and you wanted a cooler version of Casca Beige, this is very similar in terms of texture to Casca Beige, but Casca Beige is now discontinued. It's a much warmer quad, and I feel like this one is more neutral. But needless to say, even if you have those Burberry eyeshadows, if you wanted a really well done, well coordinated quad, then number 39 is definitely a good choice. But this is permanent, so you don't have to rush to purchase it. Now for the blush. I adore number 76 Frivole, I believe. And the reason why I love it is because most people complain that these Jus Contrast blushes by Chanel have too much shimmer. This one is a satin, so there's very little shimmer on the cheek. And it's very bright, so it's pigmented enough that it shows up on all skin tones. And a lot of you have asked me how close it is to other Chanel coral colors, and so I'm going to show you the ones that I have. This one is the lightest peach. It has the most shimmer in my opinion, and it works best for those of light to medium complexions. Number 55 works really well on those who are of medium to dark complexions because it's significantly more brown and more orange than is number 65, which is a peachy orange. So I really love the spring blush. I think it's very appropriate for those who want to wear an orange coral this season, and I do highly recommend it because it's long-lasting, incredibly smooth, and I think Chanel did an outstanding job with creating a less shimmery blush. So I highly recommend it. So now for the actual spring lip product. This is number 70. And this is a Rouge Allure Extrait de Gloss. And the Extrait de Gloss formula is one of my favorite high-end glosses. It's a very sparkly gold copper with a touch of peach. Works really well. On my lips right now, it looks a lot more peach because I have the Printemps lipstick underneath. But when I wear this alone, it's a very natural looking, slightly peach nude lip. And even though there's shimmer in it, it doesn't irritate my lips. It doesn't accentuate lip flakes if I forgot to exfoliate my lips that morning. It's a wonderful gloss. So I think this is a great everyday staple for me, and it could be an everyday great staple for you too. And that's a wrap for my Chanel Spring 2013 review. I hope you guys enjoyed it and found it helpful. So happy shopping, and now let's get started with the tutorial. So to my complexion, I've already applied my Chanel CC cream, and I have a full review and application demonstration video of this on my channel. Just click on the video link here and it'll take you to that tutorial where you can find out all about the CC cream and how I wear it. And generally, I don't wear a concealer, but sometimes for my videos I will, and because I'm sick and I haven't been sleeping too well, I use my number 3 Fawn Tom Ford Traceless Stick Foundation. And as always, a recap of all the products that I used in this video will be listed on my blog, so go ahead and check down at the link below, or go ahead and check out RAEviewer.com for more. So now we're finally going to get started with the eyes. I'm going to start with my By Terry Eye Primer as a base. And now I'm going to take the shimmery taupe at the top all over the eye. It's more noticeably a lavender taupe, but on my eye it does not appear as lilac as it does in the pan. Just take it all the way across the lid and slightly up the brow bone. Now I'm going to take an applicator and pick up the highlighter shade. It's a nice pretty pink. I'm going to highlight the inner corner as well as the brow bone. And you want to highlight just the top of the brow bone. If you have hooded eyes like I do, you definitely don't want to place these brighter, frosty highlighter shades anywhere in the eye area because they'll make your eyelids look more droopy. Now I'm going to take the lighter taupe here, it's more of a golden taupe, and using a pointed applicator I'm going to pick it up. And I'm going to trace my lower lash line with this color. I like the slight rose gold effect that it gives my skin. Now last but not least, I'm going to take the slightly purple tinged chestnut brown. And I'm going to place this generously in the outer V. Blending it in with the lower lash line. Then I'm going to take a blending brush and blend it through the crease. And without taking any more color from the palette, I'm just going to build up and deepen the shade. And no, this is not a cut crease look, it's just a softly blended smoky eye. And today I'm actually going to use two eyeliners. I'm going to use a very, very dark brown by Lancôme. This is a waterproof art liner with one of the Chanel Stilo waterproofs. And the nice thing with brown liner is that you can be a little bit more generous because it's not so dramatic. So as you can see, I matched up the thickest part of the liner with the end of my crease line here. Now I'm going to apply one coat of Hypnous Drama waterproof mascara. Now I'm going to take this Chanel Rose Or pencil and I'm going to line my waterline. It brightens up the eye pretty well. I'm going to take it on the lower lash line, placing it on top of the highlighter shade, finishing off the lower lash line with another coat of mascara on the outer edges. And then I topped off the upper lash line with Demi Wispies by Ardell. And now we're going to zoom out and finish up the rest of the face. Now I am going to add a touch of bronzer today just because I feel like my complexion looks a little sickly. Now if I really wanted to sculpt my face, I would use Chanel Notorious, which I used in my holiday video, so you can check that out here if you're interested in Chanel Notorious. But today I'm just using a Tarte bronzer. Alright, now I'm going to use the Illuminating powder from the collection, which I absolutely love, as you have already heard from the review. And I'm going to use a small highlighter brush, and I like to apply this right on the tops of my cheekbones. If you want, you could actually apply it in the entire area under your eye here where you would apply your concealer if you don't have large pores. You can also take it down the nose to add a little bit of height to your nose, a little on the Cupid's bow. And some people like to apply highlighter here, but I actually don't like that very much because I feel like it makes my forehead look oily later on in the day. But that's it for the highlighter, and I don't use it all over the face. So now for the lips, I'm going to use my Peach lipstick in 90. This is from the Permanent range. And I'm going to top with the Rouge Allure Extrait de Glace in number 70, which I absolutely love. It's probably my favorite of the entire range, and it's a sparkly peach copper. And you know what? I forgot to apply blush, so we're going to do that right now. I'm going to use number 76 Frivole, I believe it's called, and it's a gorgeous bright corally orange. I'm just using an angled blush brush and applying it to the cheekbones right underneath that highlighter there. And you can blend it into the highlighter to give your cheekbones a higher effect so that your face looks slimmer. And I always do this because my face is round and I have chubby cheeks, so this technique works really well for me. So as you can see, cheeks match the lips. It's a really nice, natural springtime look. And this is my completed take on Chanel Spring 2013. And thank you for your patience as I put together this video, even though I did get sick in the process.